In this video, I'm going to show you the most important steps so you can work tapestry crochet technique. Tapestry crochet technique helps us make color drawings with our crochet hook. What we do is carry and wrap an additional strand of yarn. Then, the two threads are alternated for color work. So then, as you can see in this sample, sometimes the yellow thread will be wrapped inside the blue stitches, and then the blue thread will be wrapped inside the yellow stitches. What I like the most about this technique is that there are no floats on the wrong side. And also that when wrapping an additional strand of yarn, we create a stronger weaving than when crocheting with only one thread. This sample was made in the round in a spiral way and with single crochet. Next, I will show you how it was done so you can also practice tapestry crochet with two colors. Make 50 chains. Then, make one slip stitch in the first chain so you can close in the round. Just be careful not to twist your work when closing. Chain 1 and make one single crochet. Then place a marker. This will be the first stitch of the first row. Then continue making 49 single crochets more to fill in the rest of the base chains. Row 1 is finished with 50 single crochets all around. Usually I do not add the additional strand of yarn in row 1 because I rather focus in filling in my base chains and then add the additional color in row 2. This marker shows me the beginning of my row and I will relocate it in the first stitch of each following row. To start row 2, I remove my marker and I'm going to start with my first single crochet. So I insert the hook in the stitch, I yarn over, I pull through the stitch, and I'm gonna stop because now I'm adding the additional strand of yarn. So I take it and I will place it between my hook and the yarn that I will close my stitch with. I will just let it lay in between, leaving a 2-inch strand. Then I yarn over and close the stitch. This is my first single crochet wrapping the additional color. This is how it looks on the back and on the front of my work. I place the beginning marker of my row and I will continue with second stitch. So I insert my hook in the stitch and I go under the additional color, I yarn over and then pull through the stitch, I yarn over and close my second single crochet. I am crocheting as I usually do, but now wrapping an additional strand of yarn. So then I continue with the remaining single crochets of my row. You don't have to pull or loosen the additional strand of yarn. Just let it lay over the stitches of last row and continue crocheting by wrapping the additional color. There will be no color changes in this row, so we can first practice how to wrap an additional strand of yarn. Row 2 is now finished. This is how it looks on the front and the back of our work, with the yellow strand wrapped in between the blue stitches. We will go on with row 3 and start with color changes. To go from one color to the other, we must close the last stitch before the switch with the new color. So the yellow or the blue yarn will be wrapped according to the pattern. For this pattern, we'll follow a repetitive sequence, 3 stitches in blue and 2 stitches in yellow. Let's start row 3. I remove my marker and I make my first single crochet, and I relocate my marker in the beginning again. I make the second single crochet, the third, and now I'm going to close with the yellow yarn. There is a series of steps we can follow to change from blue to yellow and then from yellow to blue to avoid our two threads from tangling as we go crocheting. To change from blue to yellow, we'll lift the yellow strand in front of the blue yarn, then yarn over and close the stitch with yellow. Our work is ready, so we can now crochet the next 2 stitches in yellow, wrapping the blue thread. So I start with the first single crochet in yellow, then the second, and I stop so I can close this last yellow stitch with blue. We must return to the initial color, which was blue. So now the movement of threads will change. We have to lift the blue color behind the yellow strand, then yarn over with blue and close this second yellow stitch with blue. So we have finished the first sequence of 3 stitches in blue and 2 stitches in yellow, and this is how it looks from the front and the back of our work. One time the yellow yarn is hidden in between the blue stitches, and then the blue yarn is hidden in between the yellow stitches. So we continue repeating this same sequence throughout row 3. 3 stitches in blue and 2 stitches in yellow. We lift the yellow strand in front of the blue yarn, yarn over with yellow, and close the third blue stitch. Then we make 2 single crochets with yellow, wrapping the blue yarn. We lift the blue yarn behind the yellow strand, yarn over with blue, and close. And we continue repeating this sequence on the remaining stitches. Row 3 has been finished, with the sequence repeated all around. This is how it looks from the front and the back of our work, where always one of the 2 colors is hidden in between the stitches. I closed the last stitch of the row with blue, because the next one will start with the same pattern. So I remove my marker and I make my first single crochet. And I relocate my beginning marker again. And I will continue repeating the same sequence throughout the remaining stitches of my row. This is how my sample looks some more rows ahead, following the same pattern on each row. This is how it looks on the right side and the wrong side of our work. The lines are shaped diagonally because I'm making this sample in the round in a spiral way and with single crochet and following this color pattern. But we can really make a wide variety of designs. I hope you feel motivated to try this technique so you can include it in future projects.